not knowing that one egg has maximum 6 or 7 grams of protein, not enough for a meal, for
Right.
example. Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and I kind of do minimal nutrition stuff with my clients, but that's one that I do focus on because, we're trying to build muscle. So
Hmm.
I, I also am not into having people track their calories and track all of their macros because, I mean, as a trainer, I want to see it all. It's very, very interesting and enlightening to me to see it, but people just hate doing it.
Hmm.
And it really turns them off after a while. So, I generally have people track their protein and we kind of leave the rest to more like portion size.
Hmm.
Um,
So tracking, I find, can be useful for some people who, after I see them for the first time, if I determine that they are actually overeating and that's a problem, and they're overeating on things because they're snacking all day, for example, then tracking can be useful because it's an eye opener.
oh,
Number
for
one,
sure.
so you can see what you're actually doing and not what you think you're doing once in a while.
Hmm.
Number two, it's, as you said, it's a pain in the butt. So tracking is so hard and so difficult to keep up that people tend to moderate their behavior so they don't have to be logging every single thing they eat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it is a useful tool.
it is. And funny you say that. So I love and hate it for myself.
Hmm.
So I love to do it because I'm always very interested to see where I'm at
Hmm.
because I usually think I know where I am. And despite all of the times that I've tracked and how much I pay attention to what I'm eating, I'm still usually off.
Hmm.
Um, if I'm like guessing how many calories did I eat today or how much protein did I get, my numbers are never like the numbers I come up with in my head are never what I have in the app when I actually start to log my food. So it's always very interesting to me, but it also is a pain. And so
Hmm.
usually like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start tracking again. Then I do it for maybe a week and then like I just stop because like I ate a bunch of stuff that I didn't log and then I moved on and then I ate the next meal and didn't log that and I'm like, it's too late. I don't want to go back and try to remember all the 6 things that I ate and my portions and all right, I'm just going to do it tomorrow and then it never happens anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so I do macro tracking cycling if that's a thing. Like probably every couple of months I'll track for like a week.
Hmm.
Um, but I highly recommend anyone that has never tracked their macros to do it just because it is really interesting. And,
Yeah.
I would say do it accepting that you're only going to do it for maybe a week
Hmm.
because most people hate it and they don't want to keep doing it and they get annoyed by it. So, commit
And
to it for a,
it can be a problem for some people too. It can trigger a really unhealthy behavior later on,
mm-hmm.
which is something that you don't want. So if I recommend someone to start tracking their intake, is because I have determined that they are not at risk of falling into a bad pattern with food. Um,
and like what kind of bad patterns have you seen from people kind of obsessing over those numbers?
well, eating disorders.
Okay.
Uh, Disorder eating and eating disorders are things that exist in a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
disorder eating is when you start um, expressing behaviors of caring too much about what you put in your body,
Okay. Yeah.
and it can go all the way to the eating disorder, which is the thing that has a diagnosis. So
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
anorexia, bulimia,
Sure.
etc., binge eating, etc.
Yeah.
So if I see that a person either has a history or has some level of anxiety that can spiral into some of those behaviors, then I do not recommend tracking.
That
Mm-hmm.
is 100% fair.
Mm-hmm.
So for people outside of that, I definitely recommend everyone else give it a try just because it is very interesting.
Yeah.
If you think you know what your numbers are or have some idea, try tracking for a few days and see how close you are and kind of where your opportunities are.